In this video, we are going to make a mobile app that will incorporate AI functionality using Google Gemini AI. This app will take any plant image as an input and analyze its health. The app will tell you if the plant is healthy or needs attention, along with providing tips to improve its health. It will also include features like saving the analysis as a list item, and the users will also be able to swipe to delete items from the list. We will use this tutorial to learn building this app without writing a single line of code. So let's begin. We are going to start with an empty folder. I've created a folder called Plant App here. We are going to open this folder in Cursor, and you will see the contents of the folder in the left panel. Now we don't have the terminal open, so we are going to use the top menu here to open terminal. And once the terminal is open, you can press Command L to open the chat window on the side. We are going to mostly use the Composer today. So click on Composer. Now we have already predefined the whole prompt here. If you have not watched my previous video, please go ahead and check it out, where I explain how you can use ChatGPT to write such detailed prompts. For now, I'm going to provide a link to this prompt in the description, so feel free to grab it. Okay, now let's copy this entire prompt that defines how we want our plant app to work. We will copy all this content and paste it in the Composer window. Let's also add a few more details here. We will tell Cursor that we have not yet initiated the React boilerplate application. So please do not write any code until the boilerplate code is complete. We will ask it to just tell us how to begin. We will run the code. As you can see, Cursor is already telling us what are the prerequisites. So make sure you have all the prerequisites set up before you run any of the code. The first thing it's asking us to do is install React Native. So we'll copy this code and paste it in the terminal window. I'm going to run this command as sudo. Now after running this, it's asking us to run the next line of code, which will create the app. Looks like we're getting some error because this command is deprecated and Cursor is suggesting a new command. So we'll copy the new command and use that to create the application. Now after this code has finished running, you will see that the contents are starting to populate in the left panel. Okay, that's done. So now let's copy the next line, and one by one we will run each of these. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. Now it's asking us to go into the iOS folder and run pod install. We'll cd into that folder and run pod install. It will take a few seconds to run. Okay, so the initial setup is now done. And we will tell Cursor to proceed with the next steps. As you can see, Cursor is writing a lot of code for us. But one thing I noticed here is that it has created the src folder, the source folder outside of the root. We want it to fix that. I'm going to tell Cursor that the main code should be in the plant health app folder and not the plant app folder. Right now I'm going to move it manually, and I'll tell Cursor that I'm going to move this manually. But next time it should remember that our root folder is somewhere else. Now before we run this, let's first accept all the code so that we have saved everything. And let's manually move these files and folders inside our main app folder. It'll ask if we want to override, and we'll say yes. Replace the old file with these new ones, and also update all imports. We'll also say yes. We'll now tell Cursor to run this command. It's also identifying that there is a TypeScript error and it's suggesting how we can fix it. So let's run this npm command. Copy the command from here, paste it in our terminal window, and press enter. And let it run. Okay. Now we are going to tell Cursor that please proceed with the rest of the steps that it has listed. Again, it's starting to create a bunch of files. And it's also suggesting a few lines of code that it wants us to run. Now it's still writing the code outside the root folder. So we need to tell it that we are not going to accept these changes and it should rewrite the code in the correct folder. Sometimes Cursor makes these mistakes and you have to tell it once or twice and then it's going to remember. But this time we are not going to accept the changes and we will ask Cursor to fix the problem. Okay, now you can see that it has created the components folder and there is a camera view file inside it. So it's doing the right things. And we should remove this folder that it created earlier. Now just to be safe, we are going to give it a reference of our entire code base. This is so that it knows where all the files are in the latest version. And we will also ask it to remember this updated structure for our application. Whenever you give it a reference to the code base, it's going to read all the files. Oh, by the way, we forgot to accept some of the changes from the previous step. So we will need to go back and accept these files. And also make sure that the info.plist and the Android manifest files have the right code inside it. We also need to run this npm install command for the image picker. Let's see where's info.plist. Should be in iOS, plant health app, info plist. We will search for this line of code to make sure it's there. It looks like it isn't. So let's click apply. Alright, looks like it has added the changes. Now let's check the Android file. That should be in Android, app folder, src, and main. There it is. Okay. Let's apply these changes to the manifest file. Alright, looks like we have applied most of the changes. Let's make sure our app.tsx has the imports. We have both the imports. Let's also close all the files that are open. We'll accept rest of the changes. Now it's asking us if we want to proceed with implementing the report context and the storage. Let's delete the src folder that we created earlier. Why is it still here? Okay, now it has added some more files and it's showing new file structure, folder structure as well. Let's accept all these changes. Let's ask it if it's possible to test this app right now in its current state. It's saying yes, it can, but it needs to add files before we can do it. So let's accept the changes and follow the instructions on running the app. So it's asking us to run this npm run command, npm run iOS. Okay, it looks like it's trying to find my iPhone, the physical device. But I think we can try running it on the simulator instead because my phone is not connected and you will not be able to see if it runs on my phone. So let's copy this command that will help us run it on the simulator. As you can see, the simulator has popped up on our screen. It'll take a while, so have patience until it builds the app. Okay, we have our app up and running, and it has the empty screen for now. And it has the button to create the scan. And it's showing that I can take a picture or upload a photo. But if I click on the upload photo, it's not going to work right now. So let's tell Cursor that the app seems to be working. Now let's implement the missing parts. We'll let it figure out what the missing parts are. We'll accept all these changes and we'll say yes. Let's make the upload image and camera functionality work first, because without that, we cannot test the app. So as you can see, it's first asking us to install image picker, which I think we already did, but we will make sure we do it again. Okay, let's accept the changes. And then it's saying that now we should be able to take a picture or upload a file. So run this simulator once again. Let's click the plus icon, go to upload photos. It's still giving us some debugging error. So let's see. We can open the debugger window and keep it open on the side. The upload button doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay, we'll tell Cursor that it's not working. Clicking on upload does not do anything. We'll make sure all the info.plist changes it's proposing are there. We'll also accept all the changes for the manifest file. Okay, now it's saying things should work as intended. But before that, I think it's asking us to do a clean and rebuild of our app. Now we will ask Cursor to give us a step-by-step instructions on how to clean and rebuild the app. Okay, we'll run all these instructions one by one again. I'll speed it up a little bit, but just follow the instructions. Once it's done running all the command, we'll run the simulator once again. Since it's a fresh build, it may again take some time. Okay, let's see if it works. Upload photos. Okay, now we see the photo browser. That's good. Now we'll select the image and it seems to be working. Right now, we have not yet integrated our AI into this tool, so it's giving us a placeholder text for plant health analysis, but the image is working. We should be able to save this report as well. And it seems like the navigation is a little messy. Why is it going one level deeper after I save the image? Let's double confirm. We'll upload one more image. It shows the analysis. Then we save the report. Then it's taking me one more level inside. The home navigation is not right. So let's tell Cursor to fix this. The app seems to be working. Let's modify a few things. First, after the user saves the analysis and tries to go home, the app navigates to one level inside instead of coming back to home. User has to click multiple back buttons to go back home. One more thing we will tell it is that on the home screen, make the list of cards scrollable. And also lastly, reiterate, make sure that the image user inputs for analysis is also getting saved. Now Cursor should try to fix these things for us. It's also asking us to install React Native FS. And it's asking us to again do pod install. First we'll save and then run the install. Once it's finished running this, we will bring up the simulator again. Okay, we see the previously saved reports, but the images are somehow not showing up. The delete also seems to be not working and it gives us some error. Okay, so let's try and copy this error and tell Cursor that we are getting an error. But before we tell Cursor to fix the error, let's try to clean and rebuild it once again just to make sure. Okay, now the debugger is showing some other type of error. So let's copy this one instead. Let's tell Cursor that I get this error when I rebuild the project. Okay, it's asking us to delete node modules and again do a clean and rebuild. But there are some additional steps it's asking us to do. So let's follow these new steps. I'll fast forward this one. Let's run the simulator once again. Okay, let's try it. Upload photos. Select one. It's giving the analysis. We save it. And one more. Save this as well. Let's add one more. Third one. The scrolling seems to be working. Okay, we'll tell Cursor that this is working. Now we can allow the cards on the home page to be clickable so that the users can go back to the detailed view of the plant analysis. We'll also tell it that the detailed view should be the same as the plant analysis page. But in this case, the button should only allow the user to remove the report from the list. Or else the user can click back to go back to the home page. So let's add this additional ability for the user to navigate to the detailed report and back. We'll add a few images to the list once again. The clicking to the detailed view is working. Back home works as well. And one more, and we'll try. Click add details, delete report, and it's removed. Okay, so delete is also working now. Now I'll say that the report navigation is working. Now let's implement Google Gemini AI functionality. To implement Gemini, it's asking us to install the Google Generative AI. So we'll install that. And then it has created a configuration file where we will save our API key. Let's save all the changes that it's proposing. Okay, now we'll go to the Gemini configuration file. And this is where we need to add our API key. So you need to go to Google Gemini website and generate an API key and come back and paste that key here. If you don't have a Google Gemini API key, you will need to get one. So maybe try to watch some videos on YouTube and figure out how to get your API key. If I have time, I'll make a video on this topic, but for now, let's assume you have the key and you know how to use it. Okay, let's save and run the simulator once again. We will upload a picture and we have an error. Let's see what's the error. It's saying error analyzing image, so buffer doesn't exist. Let's tell Cursor. After adding the API, this is the error we are getting. It's identifying the buffer is not available in React Native by default. Let's try to fix that. Accept changes and run the simulator once again. We'll upload one more image and now we have a different error. It's an error while analyzing the image. So we'll copy this error. Looks like this is because it's using a deprecated version of Gemini 1.0 Pro Vision. Let's see what Cursor does. Okay, now Cursor says it's going to use Gemini 1.5 Flash model, so hopefully that will work. We'll accept this change and run the simulator. We'll upload one more image. And now it has one new error. This error is saying it's got some parsing error, some kind of a syntax error and unexpected characters. Now this time I will paste the entire response because this contains the response where the syntax error might be. So I want Cursor to see the response and figure out what's wrong. So let's copy the entire response. Paste it here and tell it there seems to be some error in the JSON response. Okay, it's applied some changes. And let's run the simulator once again. Looks like this might have fixed it. Okay, let's try uploading another photo. Oh, it works. All right. Looks like it's working now. Gemini is saying this plant needs attention and we can save it and it gets added as a new card on the home page. We'll try one more image. Now this one's healthy. That's great. Let's save that too. But as you can see, it's saving entire analysis in the card that makes each card very, very long. Let's tell Cursor that the analysis page text also needs to scroll. We'll accept these changes and see if it fixed. Run the simulator. We add an image. And yes, the page is scrolling. That's great. Now we saw that the home page, the card contained all the details of the analysis along with the image. That makes each card really, really long. So let's make some changes to this. And we will tell Cursor that currently the card shows entire analysis on the page. Instead, let's only show the image, the status of the health, and the date. The detailed analysis only appears when the user goes inside to view more details. Okay, let's run this. Save it and run the simulator. All right, this layout looks really nice, but there is a tab to view details that got added. So let's tell Cursor that we don't need to add this tab to view details button under each card. Also, let's make the report card design a bit nicer by adding elevation to the card. Let's save it and run it. Okay, looks like it didn't add the shadow, but it removed the button. I don't see the card elevation. Let's tell Cursor that I'm not able to see the card elevation and the shadow. All right, looks like it has fixed it now. Cool. The card shadow is looking good. Navigation seems to be working. Able to go forward and backward. The detailed page is scrolling. And we are able to add new content. Let's upload one more image. This time we'll just take this waterfall image and see what it does. Now interestingly, it also identified the image shows rocks covered with moss. So it's still trying to identify and do some plant analysis on the image where hardly any plant exists. So this is cool. Let's just add one more image to test. Okay, this one's healthy. Let's save it. So we have two healthy and one unhealthy plant. Also, the swipe to delete should work. Let's test that. Awesome. Cool. So this is a tutorial on how to build a mobile app using Google Gemini without writing a single line of code. If you like this tutorial, please feel free to subscribe, like, and add comments. And I'm looking forward to see you all again. Thanks for watching.